Welcome to ArchRivals Football Season 4. Sponsored by Raz Energy, Steiner Sports, and Super Draft Pro. Here is your starting lineup for Season 4. Number 20, Darnell, the Playmaker, Sallins. Number 96, Alex, the Bearman, Al-Kazzaz. And number 69, Ricky, the Master of Mayhem, Litwinkowicz. Kickoff is starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ArchRivals Football. As we are here with the Playmaker out here in Duval. And we got the Bear of Texas himself, Mr. Alex Al-Kazzaz, who is enjoying a very nice piece of meal as of right about now. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Just got off work. Started my new job last week, and it's beyond brutal.
And he says it's beyond brutal.
Yeah, being a bar back is not an easy job.
What is that like anyway?
What's what?
What is that like anyway?
A lot of stuff. All the prep you got to do. Changing kegs. Getting all the supplies, everything. Oh yeah. Because when you change out a giant beer keg, chances are when you change the empty one, you're gonna get sprayed right in the face with beer.
Beer everywhere. Beer just everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We're going to recap the Divisional weekend. That features 3 NFC East teams, including Bears, Cowboys. We're going to recap what took place in Arrowhead between the Jazz and the Chiefs, and Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. So as we get started, we got to start in order. The Divisional Round kicked off on Saturday, starting with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Shout out to Stephen Worm, who's in the chat. Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They was in Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. A rematch took place early in the season when the Chiefs took it 27-17 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game was a little bit different. Same result though. Chiefs 27, Jazz 20. Patrick Mahomes comes up injured with a sprained ankle, but that was not going to stop him from finishing out this game, which he does. And there you have it. 27-20. Bearman, I'll give you the 4 first.
The streak is over, Darnell. The streak is over. And do you know what streak I'm talking about?
Actually, no, I don't.
Trevor Lawrence came to this game never, ever losing a football game on a Saturday.
That streak. Oh.
That streak. A streak that goes back to his high school play days. He never lost a game in high school on Saturday. Never lost in college up until that moment. Never lost an NFL game on a Saturday. It's over. The streak is over.
If you was one of those outside of Jaguar fans, but if you was one of those that was like the streak is going to continue, you was playing with your heart and not your head. Because we both sat here and said, yeah, it's been a great season for the Jaguars, a great turnaround and whatnot, but it's going to end in their head.
I mean, they got the win over Los Angeles. They can be proud of that.
And
they should be proud of it.
Yeah, but we knew they weren't going to beat Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in Kansas City.
No, I didn't expect them to, but hey, they did make the game interesting. So we got to give Jacksonville credit for that.
They did make it a very interesting game. I do give them that. They would not. You said they would not go away, which they didn't. Nevertheless, we got Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. By the way, next year Jaguars, if y'all face Kansas City again, just go for it. You might want to stick 87, okay? Just throwing that out there. You might want to cover 87. But he had like 8 catches at like almost 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Travis Kelce was simply being himself, so it's nothing new.
But you might want to cover that guy, okay? You just might want to cover that guy.
I'll tell that to the Cincinnati defense.
I mean, we're gonna preview that game later on. So I got something for that one. Might not have a prediction for you because I'm still thinking. I gotta do my due diligence on these games this weekend coming up for Championship Sunday. But nevertheless, so it was a nice run for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They can go into the offseason feeling good about themselves. They know what they need to do. They know what spots they need to fill. They see can they do it. And you got a head coach in Doug Peterson. You have a head coach, so we're good on that point. All right, the primetime game took us to Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. That's the Eagles coming off their bye week. That's the number 1 seed, was hosting the New York Football Giants. Did I not say what was going to happen to the New York Giants?
Yeah, you said it.
Did I not say how this game was going to go?
No, you were right on point.
38-7. Steve Walvin, I am sorry that this has happened to your Giants in the playoffs. See, the thing was, people was hanging their hat on that the fact the Giants won. The Giants was getting healthy. The Giants played Philly tough, but I was like, didn't I say Philly? What Philly thing was when week 18 was to get the lead and get the hell up out of there.
Yep.
You know, pretty much what they did, right? They got the lead and they got the hell up out of MetLife Stadium. Took a bye week. Yeah, and right from Jump Street, you knew that ass was over for the Giants. You just knew it was over. There was nothing they can do. 2 minutes into the game, you knew the game was done.
Pretty much.
This is over. This game is done. So, anything for the New York Football Giants, Bearman?
Well, going into this offseason, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley are set to become free agents. So, question is, one of those two are leaving, right?
You saying they're not keeping both?
Well,
because the idea is to pay Daniel Jones and franchise Barkley. That's the idea for right now.
Yeah, that's the idea. But are they going to be able to keep them both?
You're saying they keeping one and the other one walks. Is that what you're?
That's what I believe is happening. That's what I believe is going to happen.
Right here, he says for all Giants fans, according to Stephen Rodman, he says you're keeping one and you're losing the other one. So if Steve Rodman's still watching, if Bearman's correct, who do you rather keep, Saquon Barkley or Daniel Jones?
Well, they say in the NFL, paying a running back is the worst idea ever.
Yeah, because when we get to another
that's
game,
in some, and then other people saying paying a quarterback is the worst idea ever.
Yeah,
but you got to take you have to be willing to take the risks, right?
Yeah, you do. You definitely got to take the risk on that one. But hey, I mean, you just look at these numbers. Jalen Hurts, 16 for 24, 152, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Gainwell, 12 carries, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. His first career 100-yard game. Devontae Smith, 6 catches, 61 yards and a touchdown. Oh, Steve Rodman says both of them are getting paid. So Steve believes both guys will still be New York Football Giants.
I mean, they very well could be. But the way it could be depicted is, Saquon Barkley finally had a season when he was fully healthy. So he finally has one good season since the first time since his rookie season. If the Giants are willing to take that risks, then I guess you go for it. But I mean, I'm sure the Giants can do anything they can to keep both. But the way I see it, one's staying, the other's going.
You're saying one stay, the other one is up out of here. Get up out of here. Okay. All right. No problem. I hear you.
Well, what spot did the Giants have in the first round of the draft?
That's a good question. I didn't look at that.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 20s. They're gonna be somewhere in the 20s because they made it to the divisional round and it's like the final 8 teams. It's pretty much the elite 8 of the NFL. So, nevertheless, That was Saturday. Let's move to Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday. We begin with the Cincinnati Bengals going to Orchard Park, New York to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, a matchup that we didn't see on a particular Monday night game of a certain incident. Nevertheless, I will say before we get started, it was a privilege and an honor to watch Damar Hamlin be at the stadium for this game.
Amen.
Now that I got that out the way, Bearman, you know I went 3-0 in this game, right?
Yeah, I know. You went 4-0, dude.
I ain't get to the fourth game yet, okay?
Yeah, but you already announced it on Facebook and on Twitter, so I think the world knows.
But here's my thing. Bearman, I need your input on this because I do believe you picked the Bills.
I did pick the Bengals.
Oh, you picked the Bengals. I thought you picked the Bills. You picked the Bengals.
No, I picked the Bengals.
I need to know from people who picked the Bills, what was your logic of picking the Bills? I need to know the logic of picking the Bills.
Well, I have an answer for one particular logic because where I work, there was actually a family from Buffalo, and they were all obviously a family from Buffalo. They're Bills fans, and one of them said that they're going to do this for Damar Hamlin. I said, okay, well, I mean, not the best logic, but it's definitely something you can look into. But I said, look, you can't just expect a team to win because of a tragedy that happened to one of the players. I know what the guy meant, but I thought the weather. Now, one of them said the weather would disadvantage Cincinnati, but I kind of feel like the weather. I don't think the snow had any significance in the game whatsoever.
Where is Cincinnati located at?
That's in Southern Ohio.
Exactly. Ain't Ohio's part of the North?
Part of the Midwest, actually. Well, actually, no. I think Cincinnati's part of the South. Well, I'd say more like South, Midwest kind of thing.
Cincinnati's in the state of Ohio, and the state of Ohio is part of the North or the Midwest, whatever you want to figure.
I mean, if they get snow, they don't get as much snow as Buffalo.
They get the same kind of weather that Buffalo does. It's not to the same degree.
No, Buffalo gets more snow. Buffalo gets blizzards.
I said not to the same degree, though. But they get the same weather. Snow is not new to Cincinnati. Okay. Now, if y'all was paying attention to the very small amount of game that you got to watch on that Monday Night Football, who was in control of that game?
Say that again.
The small part that you got to watch on Monday Night Football, who was in control of that game? It was a very small part. It was like 5 minutes of football.
Imagine Cincinnati was.
Exactly. They got the ball, went down the field, scored a touchdown. Buffalo responded with a field goal, but Cincinnati was moving right down the field before the incident happened.
So the game picked up exactly where it left off.
Yes. Are y'all not paying attention to Joe Burrow? What is his nickname? He's called Joe Cool.
Because he's cool.
How did he play against the Buffalo Bills Sunday?
He played in a cool way.
That's what I'm trying to figure out some of y'all logic when you pick these games, because now if you want to say you was wrong with the Damar Hamlin story and Buffalo, that did you not watch the Miami game? How did Buffalo look in the Miami game?
No,
How did Josh Allen look in the Miami game?
No, and I talked about this, didn't I? I mentioned that, didn't I? Did I?
So that's why I'm posing the question. What was the logic behind picking Buffalo?
I mean, at the end of the day, maybe there was no logic. There was no legitimate logic, or at least not one to the fullest extent.
Joe Burrow, 23 for 36, 244, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, 20 carries, 105 yards, a touchdown. Jamar Chase, 5 catches, 61 yards and a touchdown. Josh Allen, 25 out of 42, 265 and an interception. Carried the ball 8 times for 26 yards and a touchdown. They long touchdown, by the way. Dawson Knox, 5 catches, 65 yards. You can say the same thing about this game as the Giants game. From opening top, you knew the game was over. You knew it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo couldn't do a damn thing, and the Bengals were doing whatever they wanted to do. Okay?
Well,
now, before we move on, I got a question for Mr. Bearman. How do you feel about the way Stephon Diggs reacted to the end of the game and what he posted on Twitter?
I understand where he's coming from because obviously he was frustrated. I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes I've explained, look, he might not – what he did, obviously maybe not the right thing to do, but what we have to understand is I don't know what it's like to be in his position. So that's why I say I understand that he was frustrated and that obviously sometimes when you're mad, you're frustrated, you might do something or say something that you don't mean to. I mean, we've all been there. But the whole situation is obviously, mind-boggling because Buffalo – several years now with all that potential, I mean, that potential is not basically – it's not exceeding the expectation. I mean, it's almost as if – it's almost like Buffalo like being like Dallas. All that potential and just not – and then failing. The experiment just failing and failing and failing.
You got beat by Patrick Mahomes twice in the playoffs, one in the AFC Championship game and another in the Divisional Round, and we all remember the Divisional Round from last year.
I mean, before Josh Allen arrived, how Buffalo went so long being just an average to mediocre team?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. So they go through all that. I mean, Buffalo fans still have to live with the fact that the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and lost all of them. It's almost as if the Buffalo Bills are just stuck in an unimaginable, unlucky curse, almost.
And then, what was Joe Burrow last year? Like what was he last year?
I mean, Burrow was recovering from a torn ACL last year.
When Joe Burrow at SoFi Stadium last February?
He was in the Super Bowl, yeah.
Playing for the Super Bowl? That was Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah, and without an offensive line.
That was the Cincinnati Bengals, right?
Yeah.
But Buffalo came into the season as the Super Bowl favorite, correct?
They did.
Where's Buffalo now?
Well, they came as a favorite this year. Now, they've gone home. They're done.
And where is Cincinnati headed to?
To the AFC Championship in a rematch against Kansas City.
See, I need y'all to pick.
It is a blessing that we're getting rematches, isn't it?
Look, y'all should have known because basically the whole team came back for Cincinnati. The only thing they did was make some changes to the offensive line. It took them a couple of games to finally get the offensive line in the shape that they wanted in, and then after that, what you saw Bengals do? Win the AFC North, beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, did a thing to get back into the 3rd seed of the AFC, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then, all right, here we go. The final game of the Divisional Round takes us to Santa Clara, California, where it was the 49ers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Let me set it up for my partner here, if you don't mind. Cowboy fans feeling good about themselves. They took out the GOAT in dominant fashion down in Tampa Bay, Florida. This is the Dak Prescott they know and love. Correct. 4 touchdowns, 5 total. He ran 1 in. This is the Dak Prescott we love. Victor Locke, thank you for joining us, and you came at the very wrong time, sir. This is Dak Prescott that we know and love. Correct, Bearman? This is Cowboys Nation.
Yeah, okay, well, like everybody knows, I'm not part of Cowboys Nation.
So, okay.
Okay.
Now,
yeah.
Now,
I saw the Dak Prescott I know, and you know how I saw the Dak Prescott that I know?
Did
You know what I saw exactly?
Did you see my post on Facebook? You must
Yeah, I saw him beat up an irrelevant team. An irrelevant team that snuck into the playoffs because they won a division that was god-awful.
So they going to San Cruz. They feel good about themselves. We got Tony Pollard in the backfield. CeeDee Lamb doing his thing. That Prescott looked good against the GOAT. And the defense is the defense right now. The defense, that is the 49ers on the other side, right?
Yeah.
That is the team that I say who has the best defense in the NFL, right?
Best defense and best offense.
And that is the team that has, a third. This is what I didn't say last week that I had to end up saying on a different show and tweet about. Like, y'all do realize that the San Francisco 49ers in the same position that it was last year, but it's a third-string quarterback who's the last pick of the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. Does that go into people's head when they think about the 49ers? Like,
what goes into their head is that what goes into their head is because is Kyle Shanahan doing a good job as a coach.
Let's see. Cowboys defense showed the hell up. I cannot tell a lie. Cowboys defense showed they played their ass off.
They did, but you know what happened?
Dak Prescott reverted back to the Dak Prescott that I know and love.
Yeah.
Well, 2 interceptions on the night.
So, yeah, in your case, the one that you know and love. In my case, the one that I know and the one that I've always basically pointed out to Cowboys Nation, but they are too delusional to understand. They just think that I'm a hater. And based on how it went, let me remind everybody that I once said, because I will say it again, Dak Prescott is overrated. He never should have been paid. I was never for it. And now those Cowboy fans that were getting on me for that, I told you so. And I'm not going to say I hate to say I told you so because, quite frankly, I'm laughing my butt off because I told you. He is not that good. Dak Prescott is not elite. He's just an average quarterback.
He is elite. He's definitely elite. You know why he's elite? He's elite in inconsistency.
There you go. And overall, at the end of the day, when it comes to success in the NFL, it's the opposite of elite.
He's the elite.
And by the way, you know, like a lot of Eagle fans were at the place, like, yeah, and when I tell them that I'm so good at pissing off Cowboys Nation, and I told them how I do it, I immediately got subscribers to this show, to our show, Pipe Bomb Radio. I don't stop, baby. And don't worry, I've been telling people about your basketball show too. So don't be surprised if you get more if you notice the subscribe count going up. So, you know that's what I do, right?
I appreciate it.
I just tell people like, hey, if you love basketball, you listen to this show. You love pro wrestling, you listen to Ringside Chaos. You love soccer, you listen to my show.
I'm looking at Victor Lott's question here.
Well, here's the funny part. So when I told people, there was a huge family of Eagle fans. I told them I love the Cowboys. I'm just not part of Cowboys Nation. At first, they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I told them why, and they were like, they praised me in such a way. The dad literally just pulled out his wallet and gave me a $20 tip. I'm like, well, I appreciate that.
Well, Victor Locke is part of Cowboys Nation, but he's more like you. I mean, this is an interesting question here. So, who's worse, Dak Prescott or Jameis Winston?
Did Jameis Winston at least win a playoff game?
I don't think so.
Well, then obviously the answer is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott did win one.
He won 2.
Well, yeah, 2. Okay, well, 2. Yeah, obviously he's 2-4 now. Look, I gotta make it clear. Look, I don't dislike Dak Prescott. I do respect him as a person, as a human being, but he's just not a good player.
Dak is a mental midget. You rattle his cage, and he never recovers. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Do I feel bad for him? I mean, somewhat, yeah, I do, because obviously I would never want a player to fail. But sometimes you just gotta tell like it is. Look, I don't like having to being so critical, but when it's the truth. Well, I went to school for journalism, and being a journalist is to tell the story. It's about getting the facts straight. I mean, here's another story. The first lesson I learned in journalism was a classmate of mine who grew up in the ghetto said to me that's been seared in my brain ever since, get the facts straight, homie. I will never forget that. The fact is Dak Prescott is not good. The fact of the matter is paying him that amount of money was a mistake.
I have a question on my own. And this is a question that you heard, I'm pretty sure you heard throughout the 2 days that we took away from this game.
I mean, look, I love my Cowboys, but I'm just going to tell the truth.
What is next for the Dallas Cowboys? What, in your opinion, should the Dallas Cowboys do? Obviously, you can't fire the owner and the president. That's obvious. So, what do the Cowboys do?
And the GM too. He's not, because he's also the GM. I mean, when it comes to the Cowboys, Jerry Jones is basically God.
But what do your Cowboys?
He's Albus Dumbledore.
What do your Cowboys need to do from here? By the way, Tony Pollard did have successful surgery on the broken fibula. He should be ready for training camp.
They called it. I think they called it tightrope surgery or whatever it is.
I ain't looking into the details, to be honest.
I ain't never heard of that. Tony Pollard is one of the a couple of the guys they have to retain. Tony Pollard's one of them. Dalton Schultz is another one. But I feel like one of those two is definitely going to be gone because we all know the Cowboys never do well when it comes to retaining the right players. But what they should have done is, look, that offense too, the offensive play calling was still horrible. Kellen Moore should be gone. Dan Quinn, I feel like Dan Quinn, in his case, I think he deserves better, so it's better for him to leave because here he is playing a good defense, but the offensive side of the ball just can't, with the inconsistency. Honestly, I would not be pissed off if we moved on from Zeke Elliott. And now there's that story that Zeke Elliott is willing to take a pay cut to stay with the Cowboys.
Yes, and that news did come out today. Zeke Elliott is willing to take a pay cut to stay with the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, speaking of,
so is he finally understanding? Is he finally understanding what the hell's going on?
Wait. You did bring up Kellen Moore, correct?
Yeah.
What the hell was that on the last goddamn play?
Yeah, what the hell was that? Just like the same thing from a year ago. Dude, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it.
If Zeke Elliott doesn't come back to the Cowboys, his final play as a damn Cowboy is him getting ran over from the center position. The center position.
Kellen Moore is interviewing. I think is set to interview for the head coaching position of the Carolina Panthers. Panthers, if you want Kellen Moore, by all means, you can have him.
What the hell was that?
And Dan Quinn, I think he's about to interview for the head coaching vacancy for the Arizona Cardinals. Wouldn't be surprised if he took that job.
Yeah, but
as far as Mike McCarthy goes, you can't fire him because we went to the divisional playoffs, but there's got to be some changes made. Mike McCarthy. I can't deal with. This is another thing I spoke to all these people. Like I told them, I never trusted Kellen Moore. I never wanted to be on the offensive play caller because honestly, in my opinion, to be calling plays in the NFL, that's something that you got to work for many, many years. You got to pay your dues. And Kellen Moore got it right away, and I was not for it. He didn't have the experience. He was not in a position to do it. Maybe some people just say that because some people call me a complete idiot or a hater. If you want to call me that, then fine. But in my honest opinion, you give the play calling duties to somebody that's been in the league for a while, somebody that knows what they're doing.
What you think of this one? So I'm guessing you're referring to Cam Newton, Victor. Cam Newton over Dak Prescott?
Well, Cam Newton went to a Super Bowl. Can't argue that point. Cam Newton went to a Super Bowl.
He did went to a Super Bowl, but that's not a fun memory for Cam Newton either. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
And over on Snowman in the morning.
For Mr. John Mesack, it's a great memory.
Oh yeah, for you don't know this bear man, but over on Snowman in the morning, they call Mike McCarthy Pennywise. They call him Pennywise.
Speaking of Snowman, yeah, I told him the exact same thing. I love the Cowboys. I'm not part of Cowboys Nation, and I explained why. Oh man, that dude praised me. Man, it felt good. At the end of the day, I mean, I always tell those Cowboy fans. I mean, think about it. You're saying this. You're saying we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, for God's sake, you're embarrassing yourself.
So, Brock Purdy did not have a stellar game, but he did something that Prescott didn't do. That's take care of the football.
I mean, George Kittle with that catch. Hey, you can say whatever you want, but that was a hell of a play.
So the 49ers move on. The Cowboys go home yet again. So we're going to take a break.
Wait. Before we do this, one more thing about the Cowboys. This actually surfaced probably about 2 hours ago. That apparently DeAndre Hopkins is linked with the Cowboys now.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins going to link with just about any team that needs a receiver at this moment.
He's not going to Dallas. But I had to get that out.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to give a preview of Championship Sunday. You might get a prediction from the Bearman. You ain't going to get a prediction from me. I'm still thinking. So,
Paint Train Pipe Bomb Productions and the Playmakers blog are now both partnered with Fanatics. Fanatics is now your new home for all fan merchandise. From the MLB, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, MLS, NASCAR, WWE, international soccer leagues, and golf. Check out the links below for everyday deals on fanatics.com.
And welcome back to ArchRivals Football with the Bearman and the Playmaker here. And speaking of our sponsorship with fanatics.com, free U.S. shipping going on right now using the promo code 24BOLT. That is 24BOLT for free U.S. shipping on your orders over $24. Get your merch.
Get your merch.
With that being said, getting your merch, let's talk Championship Sunday. Championship Sunday. Now, I'm not going to force you to make a pick. If you want to make a pick, you can, because I'm not making picks. It's on a Tuesday.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm – well, we'll see.
First up is I got it backwards, so let me flip that around real quick. First up, and to Lincoln Financial Field as the Philadelphia Eagles, who has been the best team in the NFL from start to finish with the best record in the NFL, holds the number one seed in the NFC, hosting who I always call the most dangerous team in the goddamn league, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, before I get to the preview, Rick a lot has guys that win Super Bowls are those that have the talent as well as the mental toughness and the mental capacity to get the job done. We can say the same for these two teams right here, correct, Bearman?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy. Running back by committee for the Eagles, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown for the Eagles. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle for the San Francisco 49ers. And the defense on both sides speaks for themselves. Bearman. 49ers, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field, 3 p.m. on Fox.
Philadelphia.
He's giving you a prediction. He's picking Philly.
Look, San Francisco's got brilliant weapons, but can Brock Purdy really, is he going to be able to handle this one?
So you're saying this is the game where Brock Purdy looks like a rookie quarterback for once. And it downs the 49ers. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
I feel like this game is a game where anything could happen. But I'll tell you this game can't – I don't think this game can be ended in regulation.
So you saying overtime?
Yeah.
Okay. My initial thoughts, like I said, I'm not making a pick, but my initial thoughts on this Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. And by the way, shout out to my dad, who's turned 60 today. The Philadelphia Eagles, great season. Jalen Hurts is still not 100% with that shoulder, but he looked good against the Giants. They handled business. They got it in. They got out. Nevertheless, Brock Purdy did not have a stellar game, but he has not turned the ball over, and he's still undefeated as the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the quarterback battle. Obviously, you'll take Jalen Hurts over Brock Purdy, correct?
Yeah. I mean, that rushing Philadelphia, what was it, 268 yards of rushing against the Giants?
Yeah. Now you're going to looking at a team in Philadelphia who has pretty much running back by committee. You start off with Miles Sanders. You're throwing Kendall Gainwell in there. You throwing Boston Scott in there from time to time. You can definitely use Jalen Hurts in the run game. So that's like 4 running backs right there. That includes the quarterback, correct?
Yeah.
San Fran, you got Chris McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and you Debo Sanders be back there too, correct? 4-3. But we all know when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, it's like, well, damn. You know from this time you know the San Francisco 49ers on your schedule, this is going to be a big boys game. You already know that. You already know it. As soon as you see the SF in the red and gold logo, it's a big boys game, correct?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be one of them games. So running backs, you got to look at it. Do you go with the team that has the most players that can run the ball, or you go with a team who is known for a smash mouth football? What do you say, man?
Oh boy, this is probably why you couldn't make a prediction, right? And here's the deal: San Francisco's not New York. Philadelphia's probably they're gonna meet their match. Philadelphia knows that San Francisco is not to be messed with. Like I said, it belongs to anybody.
And then you look at the wide receiver matchup. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on the Philadelphia side. Deebo Samuel, who is naturally a wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk, and you got George Kittle. George Kittle versus Dallas Goedert.
Mm-hmm.
I lean George Kittle because it's obvious. Oh, wow, I'll go with George Kittle. I've been burnt by George Kittle before. I felt the wrath of George Kittle before. As a Rams fan. I also felt the wrath of Deebo Samuel a lot of. How many times you heard me on Remy talk? I had to, even Snowman when he came on here told you about it. Every time I have to do a Remy talk after the 49ers game, who I'm always bringing up?
Deebo Samuel.
Goddamn Deebo Samuel. But AJ Brown,
it's not like you have a choice.
But AJ Brown, on the other hand, got traded from Tennessee to Philly this year, and the Eagles' passing offense. What do you know? So receiving wise, do you like Philly or do you like San Fran?
Philly.
You like the Philly. You like Devontae Smith, the Dallas Goedert, and AJ Brown. All right. Defensive side. Hey, you already know who I'm picking. I already called him the best defense in the goddamn league.
Yeah, San Francisco.
But Philly got some players on the defensive side too. Philly gets the edge in secondary because their corners are second to none. Darius Slade Jr., Bradbury, them guys are second to none. But would you take Philly's D-line over San Francisco's D-line? I don't think so.
No.
Would you take Philly's linebackers over San Francisco's linebackers? Hell no.
No.
That's Philly's weak point is the linebackers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you that right now. And if you know anything about San Francisco, then you always got linebackers. Fred Warner, Drake Greenlaw, them boys are all over the field. Man, how many times you seen either a 57 or a 54 in the goddamn vicinity of the damn football?
Too many times, honestly.
Every time you turn around, you see a 54 or a 57 somewhere in around the ball with a Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's the head coaching matchup. Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni.
Kyle Shanahan.
Obviously, experience-wise, you're going to go Kyle Shanahan. And plus, we never seen Nick Sirianni get this far before because it's his second year at the helm with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll give the edge to Kyle Shanahan. I say edge because he has the experience. But what do people hang over Kyle Shanahan's head?
28-3.
28-3 against Thomas Edward Brady and the New England Patriots. You know what else you hang over him? The fact that you was in the Super Bowl when you had Jimmy Garoppolo against Patrick Mahomes. How did that game end?
Oh, with 10 minutes left, you had a 20-10 lead.
And how did that game end?
31-20.
Kansas City, not San Francisco. And then last year, you had a chance to get back to the Super Bowl, but what happened last year?
Lost to the Rams. Blew that 20. What was it? A 24-7 lead.
Going into that game when you had a 6-game winning streak on the Rams, which is now 8 in the regular season, because they swept us again for a regular season again. But the NFC Championship game, I think that hurts more, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So this is interesting here. This is gonna be a physical game. You better bring your big boy draws, because this is gonna be a heavyweight fight. This is gonna be a heavyweight fight inside of a phone booth here, because both teams like to run, both teams can pass, and both teams got hell of a defenses. I can't make a pick right now, but I'm breaking down the game for you to probably help you make a pick, because this can go either way. It's in Philly. It's in Lincoln Financial Field, so the odds are going to shift towards Philly in that regard, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let me go look at the numbers right now, because when it first came out, I think it was like 2.5 in favor of Philly, if I remember correctly. Let me see where is it. 48 hours later, we are looking at. It's still 2.5 Philly at home. So it's gonna be
Philly's his favorite, yeah.
That's the first game to punch the ticket to Phoenix, Arizona. Well, I should say Glendale, Arizona, to make it to the Super Bowl. Our second game takes us to CBS and is at Arrowhead Stadium. We have an AFC Championship rematch in the same building with the same teams. This I put round 4. Somebody hit me up and let me know this is round 5 between these two. With Joe Burrow leading 3-1. Patrick Mahomes won the first year when Joe Burrow got there, before Joe Burrow injured his ACL. We always know that Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have beat Patrick Mahomes in 3 straight of a calendar year. As Snowman joins us right after we talk about his 49ers. Your timing is bad. Bearman, we seen this game last year. You know how this game went. That was with Tyreek Hill. This year, there is no Tyreek Hill, but Patrick Mahomes is there. Travis Kelce is still there. Andy Reid is still the head coach. But Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, they look like a machine that can't be stopped. Floor is yours.
I have a feeling Cincinnati is going to do it again.
He's saying a 4th straight and twice in a row at Arrowhead Stadium in the AFC Championship game. Explain.
Well, Joe Burrow's 3-0 on road playoff games, and each time he's been the underdog, hasn't he?
Yep.
And is he the underdog again in this one?
Cincinnati is a 1.5 favorite on the road.
Okay, well, he's not the underdog then. Cincinnati's got their weapons, but Cincinnati's got offensive line issues still.
That didn't show up against Buffalo.
No. They're going to have to show up in this one.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, so we got Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has thrown for 4,400 yards with 35 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, the year without Tyreek Hill, has still thrown over 5,200 yards, 41 touchdowns and 12 hits. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes still doing Patrick Mahomes things, but we do have a high ankle sprain for Mr. Mahomes, man.
Yeah, they said that earlier. Should we be? I don't know if I should say we should be freaking out about it, but it is a justifiable cause for concern.
You're talking about a high ankle. This is the same injury that Cooper Kupp had and didn't finish the season for the Rams, by the way. The same exact injury. But like Patrick Mahomes said in his press conference, they're gonna have to drag me off the field to get me to not to play.
If Patrick Mahomes goes in this game and the ankle is not 100%.
Oh, that ankle will not be 100%. You're talking 6 days. The high ankle sprain don't even heal within 3 weeks. It takes time for a high ankle sprain to recover.
Yeah. And by time, we mean, I would say, a minimum of 3 weeks.
He don't have 3 weeks. He has literally, as of right now, he literally has 4 days. And some finals.
Yeah, that's why I feel like, Kansas City, yeah. That's why that's another reason. If Patrick Mahomes is not 100%, I'm not sure how he makes it through.
Now, question for you, sir.
All right.
If Joe Burrow beats Patrick Mahomes yet again, is it time for people to stop leaving Joe Burrow's name out of the conversation?
Yeah.
Because every time we had this conversation, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert gets mentioned a few times. Justin Herbert gets mentioned more times than Joe Burrow gets mentioned, ironically.
If everybody forgets, Joe Burrow won the Heisman Trophy, won the College Football National Championship.
Like, when y'all gonna start putting respect on Joe Cool name, man? He tore his ACL his rookie year. He came back, made it to the Super Bowl, and if it weren't for Aaron Donald, he would have found Jamar Chase wide open for a touchdown and probably would have won the Super Bowl. He comes into this season, leads the Bengals to a 12-4 record.
Well, 13-4 if you count the playoffs.
13-4, including the playoff game.
Yeah.
He went to Buffalo and knocked off Josh Allen. He has beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 consecutive times. To me, he shouldn't have to win this game to be respected. He should be already getting the respect that he deserves. But if he beats Patrick Mahomes again for the second consecutive time in Arrowhead in an AFC Championship game, y'all better stop playing with Joe Cool. Because this boy does not phase under any type of pressure. Don't matter the situation, this man is Joe Cool all day, every day. Obviously, if we're going weapons, we obviously know who got the better weapons. That would be Joe Cool and the Bengals, correct?
Yes, sir.
The only thing besides quarterback position that the Chiefs have over the Bengals when it comes to offense is what? Tight end with Travis Kelce. Because who you gonna put up against Travis Kelce outside of George Kittle? Nobody. But you got Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Samaje Perine comes in and does some things. Joe Burrow got weapons and he gets all of the ball. Patrick Mahomes gonna do his thing with Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marcus Valdes-Scantling. He's gonna do what he needs to do. Jeremy McKinnon and whatnot. Now, defensive side, Chiefs or Bengals?
Probably Chiefs.
You say Chiefs. I say Bengals. You have a Harvard Patrick Mahomes against that D-line for the Bengals. Sam Herbert, Trey Henderson. Remember, Sam Herbert took a knocked out quarterback sneak for 98 yards for a touchdown to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Trey Henderson knows how to get to Patrick Mahomes. I like the Bengals defense in that one. Head coaching wise, you can say Andy Reid. Done it longer.
Andy Reid has been a head coach since 1999.
Done it longer, been to 2 Super Bowls, 1-1. A man can call plays, but Zach Taylor ain't far off. Zach Taylor definitely ain't far off. Despite the length of time Andy Reid has been coaching. Zach Taylor has shown the ability to coach. So, I broke it down for you. Like I said, I couldn't make picks. It's only Tuesday. I still need time to make picks. This is Championship Sunday. Okay? You have to be methodical in this one. You can't rush the judgment. You can't rush the judgment, Bearman. You have to analyze, not overanalyze. You just have to analyze, look at the stuff that you normally look at, see where the pieces fall at, and then you make your best educated guess. That's what you do in this situation. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are here. It's the Final Four in the NFL. Championship Sunday. Kicking off with 49ers and Eagles at the Lincoln Financial Field at 3 on Fox. Followed by the Bengals and the Chiefs at 6:30 p.m. on CBS. The road to Glendale, Arizona is almost here. It is almost here, and I can't wait. All right, Bearman, anything you need to say before we get up out of here?
Those playoff games are sure exciting and definitely going to be worth watching. But I know aside from NFL playoffs, there's another thing that you and I are looking forward to this weekend, but that's something for another show.
The Royal Rumble.
You know, this show obviously, you know, probably brought to you by WWEshop.com that is now affiliated with Fanatics. So if you're looking to get your pro wrestling merch and taking advantage of the best deals in the world, you got to shop at Fanatics, bro.
Shoot the Lights Out had a new episode released on yesterday. The video is up, the audio is up, and I went to a personal flaring foul with 2 teams who couldn't hold second half leads against the damn Lakers. And speaking of the Lakers, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, do me a favor, give them another L. Please give them another L. All right, that's the Bearman down in good old Texas. I am the Playmaker out here in Duval. We'll catch y'all next week after Championship Sunday.
You've just experienced ArchRivals Football Season 4. Click that like button and subscribe so you'll be notified when a new Arch episode is live on the air. Check out our sponsor links down below for everyday deals on Fanatics, NFLshop.com, and Points.com. Need merch? Check out www.paintrainpipebomb.threadless.com for quality merch at amazing prices. Tune in again next time for ArchRivals Football Season 4.